What's going on, everybody? Blazing here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And we got a brand new player promo code. Again, new player promo code. We're not putting out any clickbait. It is just for new players. So if you're deciding to do an alt account, if you're deciding to just, maybe go free to play and want to get yourself a little bit of a boost, or if you are brand new to the community, welcome aboard. Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. But if you are looking to start up Raid, this is probably one of the better times to do it. Getting a free legendary champion, a free login on top of that with our girl Alice over here is great. Now, there is another thing that you can do, which if you use a promo code for another third-party creator, there's a bunch of them out there. I don't have them all. I know Game Leap has one of them. You can get yourself 3 legendary champions for free, but this one is actually, let me just put it in so I can get you guys out of the way here. Whoever just wants the promo code is Supreme, right? 6. So you're going to get yourself an ultimate Galek. You're going to get some potions. You're not really going to get a lot to, you're going to get him 5-star, basically halfway to 5-star. You're not going to be able to ascend him or anything like that, which is kind of a shame, right? I feel like with these promo codes, they should at least give you everything to get him to a 3-star ascension. But let's take a look real quick at his skill kit and see, is he really worth you putting your resources in? Because you're going to get a lot of legendary books and you're going to get, you're going to farm masteries and everything. But the real question is, should you use him over, your Kale? Honestly, probably yes. And he does scale better towards the end game than early game. He is a void champion, right? Now, Supreme Galek was, I think it was like a year 3 or 4 where they did the whole Supreme champion. So every Supreme champion or every starter champion got their Supreme version. But let's take a look at the A1. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 10% chance, an extra 10% chance of inflicting a critical hit. The second part of the skill kit says each hit also has a 40% chance, books up to 60, of increasing the duration of any HP burn debuff by 1 turn. So it's a solo hit, right? So we're only going to hit 1 NPC or single target boss. Each hit, though, will have the 60%. So you're probably guaranteed to, at least on a single target, be able to increase the duration by 1 turn, right? Possibly 2, depending if RNG is in your favor. The A1 is pretty solid. Would I want to book it out? Honestly, if I can get away without booking it, I would definitely try so, right? Moving on to the A2, attacks 4 times at random. Now, the at random part, I'm not a real big fan of. I'd rather just have it as an AoE hit, but it does come in clutch in places like Fire Knight, right? So we'll give you an increased attack on this champion for 3 turns. It books down to a 3-turn cooldown, so we get 100% increased attack all the time, right? We don't need to bring anybody else to self-buff us. We self-buff, so we don't need anybody else to buff us. Each hit has a 10% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Each hit also has a 75% chance, books up to 100, of instantly activating any HP burn debuffs on the target and decreasing the duration of those HP burns by 1 turn. So the A1 will give you the chance to increase, the A2 will give you the chance to decrease. Now, in places like single target bosses such as Fire Knight or Clan Boss, this could be very nice, right? The only problem that you have with those is if it's if you're all 4 hits do it, then you're not going to have HP burn up at all times. And you really want to have the boss or the dungeon boss that you're going up against to have HP burn up every single time they take a turn. That way they take more damage. Now, for places like Hydra, this is going to be really good, right? And mostly because of the second part of his skill kit, which fills this champion's turn meter by 30% if 3 or more debuffs are activated. So you basically get a 30% buff or 30% turn meter boost if 3 of these HP burns go ahead and ignite, which, it is 100%, so it's going to do it, right? It's not like it's like a 10% chance to do it. It's a 100% chance that each one will do it. So you're going to get yourself a 30% turn meter boost. Now, if you put him in a like relentless set, you're going to find yourself getting a lot more turns, a lot faster, especially because of the passive, because it comes in kind of clutch. Now, moving on to the A3, attacks all enemies, has a 10% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Every ability he does has a chance of inflicting a critical hit. Has a 75% chance of placing HP burn and block buffs for 2 turns. Now, this right here is strong. Strong in a lot of places. And mostly, you're going to work on Spider and on... sorry, guys. And on... I'm having a mind block. Hydra. And also places a 30% decreased speed on the targets whose turn meter is higher than 50%. So I'm not a big fan of the, if type of situation, like the 50-50, if it's over. I feel like that should be just a 100% or just lower it down to like 25%. That way, decreased speed always lands, because this ability in Hydra is crucial, right? It has a 3-turn cooldown to 100% chance to land, which is, again, really, really huge. Now, Spider is where ideally you're going to want to have this. You're going to go into the A3, then the A2, right? Give yourself some turn meter boost, do some explosion with the HP burn. And then moving on to the passive. Whenever this champion receives a Fear, True Fear, Freeze, Provoke, Sleep, Stun, Petrification debuff, instantly removes it, then fully depletes this champion's, then fully heals this champion and grants an extra turn. It is on a 4-turn cooldown, which basically means every one of these abilities becomes 1 turn less, right? So this becomes a 2-turn, this becomes a 2-turn as well. And that's because every time you use them in places that will do anything like this, like Spider, right? If he's the last to go in Spider, he will, unfortunately, you don't want him going the last, but if he is, let's say, he will get stunned, which will boost his turn meter, and then have him go a 2nd turn, right? Places like Hydra, you have like the Fear Head, right? So if he gets a Fear or True Fear, or even a Provoke, he's going to cleanse that every 4 turns. So the faster you have him going in Relentless, I feel like is probably going to be his best set. So let's talk a little bit about, should you invest your resources in him early game? Should he be the first legendary champion that you took out? I'm going to go ahead and say no. And the reason is because until you get yourself 4 or 5 different legendaries, because if you start putting everything in him, yes, he will carry your account. What happens if you pull something bigger, right? What happens if you pull yourself a Duchess? Now, some of you may or may not pull a Duchess. Some of you may know what Duchess does. But what happens if you pull a Duchess? What happens if you pull like a really solid Reviver? You could pull yourself, I don't know, a Sifi, right? You would want to book Sifi over him first. So I would go ahead and say in the beginning, I wouldn't really invest in him until you're ready to start building like a Hydra team or specific teams. In Clan Boss, he's gonna be good. He's gonna give you the HP burn and the damage. He's not gonna be able to do anything with the decreased speed because you can't decrease the speed of the boss. You can decrease the speed almost everywhere also, so it is gonna come in helpful with that. You are gonna require accuracy for it. So overall, I'd say hold your books. Get him to a 6-star because he's definitely worth doing that. But I wouldn't go too far more than that, right? You can get some masteries. You can use them as your farmer for campaign and for your dungeons, for, your solo farming for, what's it called here? Stop giving me all these offers. For your, can't even, minnow, right? So I would definitely say invest in him, hold the books, give him everything else he needs, give him some good gear. If you can get yourself in a Relentless set, I would definitely do so. All right, so that was a very long-winded answer. I went a lot longer than what I wanted to, but I wanted to make sure that you guys were fully aware of what you're getting yourself into. He is definitely a good champion, better for the end game than the early game. But if he's what you got, it's what you got. That said, make sure to smash that like button up. Consider subscribing to the channel if you found this helpful. We will be putting out some guides on him. I really, really do like him. I'm not going to lie. Although I think Supreme Kale is a little bit better. But maybe they should just do a promo code for every Supreme Champion. Who knows? If Plarium, if you're watching, do it. Join us every Sunday, 2 p.m. EST for the Knights of Teleria podcast, where we dive into the world of Raid Shadow Legends, discussing everything from free-to-play strategies to pay-to-win insight, and covering the journey from early to mid-game. Whether you're a newbie or a seasoned player, we have something for everyone. Don't miss out on the Knights of Teleria podcast, the only podcast for Raid Shadow Legends. As always, guys, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other. I'll catch you guys next time.